Hello traders, and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 32. It's Iliya here, and as always I am so glad to see you on my YouTube channel. If you're watching this for the first time, this channel is all about trading, investing as well, and mindset, psychology. I will start posting more and more content and will become more systematic with my posting schedules. I will try to post every Tuesday, every Thursday, and every Saturday for those weekly outlook and setups. So if you're excited about it, make sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on notification bells in order not to miss the videos. And if you already did, let's head for the analysis. Before we start, just to mention a little note that I am focusing solely on market structure. So I don't trade simple support and resistance. I always look at the structure, how the market moves, because I believe, and that is what I preach, that is why I have the black candles on my chart, because that clearly helps you to identify the market structure and how the market moves. So I really preach this, and I really try to encourage others to switch to black candles and to focus on how the market moves. Not what is the candle, what is the color, is it a bearish engulf or a bullish engulf? For sure, those things are super important and it's always good to know them. However, I believe that this is the best approach to the market. That is what I teach as well. So if you're interested, you can check my program. But yeah, I just wanted to drop a quick note because some people don't like the black charts, but I thought about it and I said, well, I preach this. So, but yeah, if you really struggle, let me know down in the comments, so I will change them for the next time for sure. Now, DXY, as always, we're starting from the US dollar currency index. Let's see what we have for the dollar. So quickly throwing a quick analysis here. We had this double top. You can see price broke the neckline, created a new lower low. Then it pulled back perfectly to form a lower high. Of this high, tried to push down, did not create a lower low too much. Yeah, it closed below this one, but it was pretty weak. Then we started to push to the upside. Nice push. This was a potential lower high of this structure, and we can see that right now the market failed to continue to the downside. After 4 days of consolidation, we had the breakout, we had the retest. You're going to see on the 4-hourly, and right now we have a lot of buying pressure. So knowing that from the daily, we jump to the 4-hourly, and here is the consolidation I was talking about. I was looking at this the whole week, and when we finally had the breakouts, then I was waiting for that retest, but you see I never got the confirmation. Never confirmation candle with a nice rejection. That tells me, all right, here are sellers. On the other hand, we had buying pressure. You see those wicks to the downside? The wicks are pointing to the downside. This means that the sellers are trying to push down, but they fail. Try to push down, fail, and even closes bullish. And that is why I have the black candles, because you can identify where the pressure is. And when I saw that, I thought, okay, then we don't have sellers, then this is going up, and it overall went up. So quickly, the bias, well, I am more buy bias than sell bias on the DXY for now. My bias changes every single day because I'm a day trader and I try to identify where the market is moving today, not for the week ahead. So what I will wait right now is for price to pull back to create a higher low. We might potentially pull a little Fibonacci here. You can see around 50% we have a structural point here, a little interaction zone, this kind of level. So potentially pull back here. Checking the daily, we have a lot of resistance here, but you can see it perfectly aligns with the 27% extension. If I just plot a line here, that resistance point, you see perfect 27. So price may push to that 27 extension, and from then we should see what is going to happen. But for now, I remain bullish on the dollar, so let's see if Euro USD supports this. And as we can see, Euro USD is perfectly short bias. So how can we analyze this chart? Where very simply we see that the market was trending up, nice higher high, then the market pushed to the downside to create a potential higher low, attempted to push up, failed to create a new higher high, which means that the market is exhausting right now. There is not enough power for the market to continue pushing up. Then we had this breakout, we had this retest of the trend line here, and we had a perfect short opportunity. We can see the daily candle is massively bearish, and this market, I think it's going to continue tumbling to the downside. So I was looking for shorts on Euro USD. But at the beginning of the week, I was looking for longs as well, but did not manage to get a long. Then I believe this was Thursday. we saw this consolidation here. Then the market attempted to push up, but failed. And then we had this bearish engulf, but by the time the market started moving here, it was already too late. It was, I am sleeping by that time. And then the market just decided to plummet to the downside, and I missed this sell opportunity. However, we had a beautiful lower high formation here. You see the market breaks out of the consolidation, will always pull back a little, and then the market continues down. So very simple analysis, guys, on this one. As the DXY, I will be waiting for a little pullback. We can possibly draw the Fibonacci level, searching for a structural point that the market may retest. So that's a little bit trickier because you see that on the left here, we have a lot of interaction. We have up, down, up, down, up, down. The price was choppy. That is why I was waiting for shorts and was not eager to take longs. So potentially the last structural point is here. You see price pushed, pulled back from here and massively pushed. So anywhere in between this zone, the market can pull back. And I will be start looking for levels to form. So 4 hourly rejections, the market starting to fail to continue to push to the upside. And when I see that interaction here, that little bit of slowdown, this means that a potential lower high is being formed, and that is when I will start looking for sells. But overall, sell bias on Euro USD. You can identify some very simple support and resistance levels that you can target. Currently price is tapping into one, so we can expect some bullish pressure at the market open, but overall sell bias, and I will be looking for sells only. Euro JPY, it was very tricky pair because you can see the last 3 days it was consolidating a lot of wicks, and just the Japanese yen wasn't that nice this week because later we will see USD JPY that is super choppy. It doesn't do anything, and this results in choppiness in the other JPY pairs. Overall, very simply that this market is up. However, price just pushed to the upside, so we should expect a pullback. That is what I teach. When you see the market overextended, then it created a higher high, so it should push to the downside because that's how the market moves. You know, A, B, C, then the market will continue to the upside. Right now, what the daily candle tells us, massive selling pressure after 3 days of rejections here. So just looking at the daily, this is the level here. You can see the price respected this liquidity area here, this massive wick, failed to close above, and then boom, dropping to the 4 hourly quickly to see what is happening. You see the choppiness here, wicks, and then the market just decided to flush. So that is a very simple setup, guys. When you see the momentum pushing, you just wait for that pullback. So I will plot my Fibonacci. We should wait though for the price action to stop, to find support, to start pushing to the upside. Then we plot our Fibonacci level, and we wait for that pullback to some of the Fib levels. And then I think this may turn into a nice swing trade because we see that the market already pushed up very strongly, created this little consolidation area. Right now we're having the selling pressure. The market should pull back for a lower high, and then potentially we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves to the downside. So that is what I'm looking for. Euro JPY short bias. Aussie USD daily time frame. So what did we have on this pair? I believe I shouted this head and shoulders in the community. I may have on my previous volume as well. And you see when the price approached here, we had 4 days, the whole week was consolidating, and just the last day we pushed to the downside. That is why this week really sucked. I just had one loss and did not find any other trades at all. Dropping to the 4 hourly, we see the choppiness here, price up, down, up, down. So I tried to short the market around here, but I did not find an entry because it's so wicky. Then price created this lower low, so I was waiting for a pullback, but then the market broke the structure, continued to push up. I thought it's going up, but then you see 1, 2, 3, massive selling pressure introduced. The market just pulled back perfectly to a Fibonacci level, 50%, and continued down to perfectly tap the 27% extension. So how am I looking at this market? Well, I see that this is my last lower high. So this is where the market pushed, pulled back, lower high, lower low. And what I'm waiting right now is a retest back at this zone, because this is was a very strong zone of support that can potentially turn into resistance or a Fibonacci level, and all the pairs are kind of aligning for the same setup. You see EU, EJ, AU, and I believe AJ as well. So short bias on AU. Beautiful structure forming on Aussie JPY daily time frame. What I can immediately see is this liquidity point here. We see how the market failed to close above 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 days closing below on the daily time frame, indicating a lot of selling pressure and a strong level of resistance. We have 76.0, which is a key level in the market, and the last day we had a bearish engulf, introducing that selling pressure into the market, and we start looking for sells. What I can see here is that the market created this top, it pushed away, it came back to create a lower high of this structure, because you see the high here is lower than this one, and then continued to create this lower low. So this market is potentially turning into a sell bias market. However, we don't see that strong selling pressure yet. You see here how strong was the buying pressure, and right now we are seeing the distribution phase. We still have this support level to deal with right here at 75.6. So what I want to see, similarly, the price may continue to push down a little bit to tap this support level. Then I think it should pull back to create a lower high, another lower high, something like this. You see high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then potentially we will have the sell-off. So this is how I plan my trade, and this is how I will execute. So tap of the support, pull back to a Fibonacci level, and then the sell. NZUSD daily time frame, I'm gonna be frank with you, this pair confused me this week. So what do we have here? An overall buy bias market, but then we had this massive pullback to the downside. So price started to find support here, and I will drop just a quick level here in order for us to know where we are. And what we saw, rejection, price attempted to push down, rejected again, but then tried to push up and rejected from the upside, creating all of this confusion. And if you drop down to the 4 hourly, I was just confused because we have this downwards moving market. The market created a lower low, so I should expect a lower high. But you see on the pullback, the lower high never formed, and we had this impulsive move to the upside, which reversed immediately. So I was thinking, is this market reversing right now? Are we having a pullback in order for the market to continue up? Or is it just manipulating and tapping some support and resistance levels on the left? And then what we had this push to the downside. We had a beautiful pullback, which I did not identify because I was confused. 2 4-hourly candles of rejection, and then the massive selling pressure. We can see on the hourly, the tweezer tops here. A lot of people ask me about entries. Well, learn candlestick formations, guys, on the hourly time frame. Look at those 2 beautiful candles here side by side. That's a tweezer top. Just enter a trade or let the momentum kick in. You see, you still have a 10 pip stop loss, and you're gonna smash this 3R just with this simple setup, which I did not identify because I was too confused, and maybe I overanalyzed my chart because I saw this level as well. You see price pushes, pulls back, high. This may have been the potential double bottom for the market to push up, so I just decided not to take this trade. For next week, just make sure to identify this strong support level. That price may find support, we're not sure. Very similar to all of the pairs we already analyzed. Let's see that pullback. A potential retest area is this one. Lower high, lower low, price pulling back for a lower high, and then riding it down into that supportive region. NJ daily time frame, confusing pair as well, but right now we have beautiful structure forming right here. So if you see where the place where the price topped, found the top, then we had this massive selling pressure creating a supply zone. Then the price pulls back again. You see 2 wicks here at this one, and the last day is closing as bearish pressure. So just looking at the daily, we can expect some bearishness on this market. This is the pullback phase. If you drop it down to the 4 hourly, we can see this trend line, which is not perfect, but I don't use trend lines, and I don't care how perfect they look, because trend lines are often very confusing and a lot of traders struggle by identifying trend lines. So what we can see here is that level, we had this push to the downside, the little pullback, very similar to NZUSD. We created this double top, the market pushed, broke the last structural point, which is here, and right now we are pushing to the downside. So deleting everything in order to keep a clean chart. What I can see is that the last major area was here, where price found massive support. Selling pressure is introduced into the market, a little pullback, possibly back at this retest area, or even higher. Price sometimes may go to the major area. That is why you really have to wait for the confirmations to see that the market is rejecting here, because if you don't get the evidence, then there is a high chance that price will go to gather orders from the major area. And from then, guys, it's a fun part because you start targeting all those support and resistance levels from that trend up. We have one here We have one here, that point. This could be included as well, but this is better. So let's see that retest. And I think even from the daily time frame, we as this can be classified as some sort of a double top, we can have a nice push to the downside. So let's see if that happens. Nice setup aligning. Let's monitor. USD JPY, guys, the worst pair for the week. So what do we have here? We have a massively overextended market. So this market is 100% due to a pullback, but it's currently manipulating a lot of people because everyone was short at that area first. You see, when this rejected, then everyone was short. Stop loss is taken, more people go short, stop loss is taken, and we just wait for that push to happen. That is what I teach in my course. Wait for the shift first and then trade. So what do we have here? We had very choppy price action. You see price attempted to push down, but we see the wicks, guys. We don't see the sells. We see price attempting, failing, trying, crawling down, then boom to the upside. And right now it is still super choppy. So I really don't want to analyze this pair because I have nothing to analyze. Just will drop a quick structural point. This one we can consider as a fresh like support level. The price pushed up. So yeah, this is a nice area here. You can see a nice liquidity area where price failed to break. So this is how I look at this market, guys. But I really want to see some action on USD JPY. So I either want to see a nice selling pressure being introduced, clear candles, not wicked candles, then a pullback, potential head and shoulders may form here. You can see price may even push to the downside here to support, and then may pull back for head and shoulders. But this is a process later in the week because I don't know how price will open. I don't know how it will behave. And that is what I do in the daily analysis. But for now, there are a few scenarios. Price may come back down here to tap the support, create head and shoulders. Price may introduce some selling pressure, stop around here, pull back for a lower high. And then I can potentially look for shorts back at the support level. And if the support level breaks, then we will have we basically don't have any support and resistance levels here, so it will just create a nice downtrend to the downside. So all the Japanese yen pairs are aligning for sells, and if USD JPY starts to push to the downside as well, then we will have the best confluence to trade EJ, AJ, and NJ as well. So let's see what happens with this pair. USD Swiss franc daily time frame. Let's see what we've got here. So we have a massive selling pressure here. Price stopped for a bit, created this corrective movement, broke out again, supporting here. 1, 2, 3 formation on the daily, potential buy, buying pressure introduced into the market. So that's from the daily. Overall, super bearish, massive flushes on this pair without even giving us an entry. You see, this was the pullback on USD Swiss franc. So I was waiting for a clear pullback, but it never gave it. It just like pulled back for a few, like 2 4-hourly candles, and then pushed to the downside. So let's see. So this market is a little bit confusing because from the daily time frame, I see that this is very overextended to the downside. It's starting to slow down here. You see the market started to push to the downside, but it should do this. But overall, I am still sell bias. However, if I am sell bias on Euro USD as well, and we wait for that pullback, then USD Swiss franc is oppositely correlated. You should know that. So if we expect a pullback on Euro USD, this may give us a pullback as well to the downside. And then if Euro USD starts to push to the downside, this will start pushing up. So are we potentially having a reversal here? I don't know, and no one knows. But what I can expect from the analysis of Euro USD is this to reverse and to create a little uptrend. However, I will still continue monitoring for the price action. As I said, my bias changes every day. For now, I can see that the market is creating this kind of level. So I will see how the market pulls back. And does it create a lower low? That's the most important point, because it may come down here around this area. If it starts to support, and then I see some buying pressure, then this is a buy for me immediately. And then I will, and then if this area breaks, then we have a new uptrend established, because we have the low, the high, the higher low, and the higher high. When it prints, then we have trend confirmation. So that's on USD Swiss, guys. It's kind of unclear for now. So let's see how the market develops. A few scenarios here. Price rejecting, creating a lower low, price rejecting, pushing to find support into this area, and then creating a higher high. So Let's see. I think this will largely depend on the DXY and Euro USD as well. USD CAD, guys, is a complete mess. So as you can see on the daily time frame, we had this beautiful push to the downside, a beautiful pullback, but price has been staying in this consolidation for quite some time. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, for over a week now. So yeah, just looking at the daily, you see consolidation, nothing more to say, and dropping down to the 4 hourly, you can see that choppy consolidation. This is not even a clear consolidation that you can trade. It is just choppy. We had the double top here, price pushed to the downside, pulled back. I thought price was breaking, will break the consolidation, printed a nice bearish candle, but immediately returned back in and continued to, yeah, just stay in this consolidation. So UCAD is very loves ranges, loves consolidation. So make sure to wait for that breakout, because we never know when the price will exit and when the price will fake out. We had the first fake out here. So when this price action wasn't here, you were looking at this market like this. Let me show you. So this is your consolidation for now, right? And then when the market prints that bearish candle, you see, oh, the break and the retest. But that was too immediate. Then you have the continuation, but you can see the market just returned. So you want a clear break for the market to leave this and then to come back. So very patient with USD CAD. Let's wait for that breakout, guys. All right, let's have a look at all the GBPs we have on our list. So starting with GBP USD. Well, what can I see on the daily time frame is a little bit of a compression. So I don't trade daily formations, but this is too evident that the market is kind of compressing in this triangle and is currently about to break out, because we see it's exactly here at the most compressed place. So just looking at the daily structure, we see that this is the last daily kind of a higher low. The market pushed, created a lower high, then created another higher low, but in the same time it's creating lower highs. So those are the characteristics of a triangle. The last day we had massive selling pressure. So if we drop it onto the 4 hourly, we can see that push to the upside. We can see nice manipulation here, price pushing to the downside. We have broken this trend line, so the market is introducing the selling pressure. What I can wait is for the market to pull back at a Fibonacci level potentially and look for sells. And this is just in confluence with the DXY and with all the pairs, because GU it should be positively correlated to the other USD pairs like EU and AU. But just because it's GBP, it has slightly different way of moving. But this is a support level, very strong support level, demand zone. You see when price tapped, it exploded massively to the upside. But currently the momentum is to the downside, so I will be looking for sells always after a pullback, because I want to sell high. So this is what my setup will potentially look like when the market starts to create structure here. And yeah, then I will be targeting this one. GJ, so GJ daily time frame, what we can see here is a slight consolidation. After a massive push, price pulls back, tries to push down but fails. You see it doesn't continue down, pushes all the way up. After a long way of consolidation, we can see clearly where price found resistance at this area. Bullish push, boom, immediately bearish. So yeah, immediately short bias as we have this uptrend here. The market is currently pushing down with massive selling pressure. So the level, an important zone that we have to watch is this one. I will draw it something like this to include all the wicks. What I want to see on this market, guys, is a double top. This will be the highest probability setup, or a potential lower high. We don't have a head and shoulders scenario here because we don't have a clear left shoulder. So I want to see price pulled back a little bit to gather more orders, more rejections, and then potentially I will target this one. You see how all the pairs correlate. So this is what I want to see. And up until this moment in time, for I don't know how many weeks passed, we didn't have any correlation at all. So I hope it's starting to kick in now. GA daily time frame, we have a little triangle here as well. I will just mark this daily area, and this one potentially we can have a Fibonacci play here. 61.8 perfectly tapped. Okay, so 4 hourly time frame, what we can see is the market pushing strongly to the downside. That's from the daily, and the market is pulling back right now. So how I looked at this market at the beginning of the week, well, we had this little area here to the downside and to the upside, and I was waiting for a breakout. But you see the market consolidated a lot, rejection, tried to push down but failed. Then we had a massive explosion to the upside, but price did not continue pushing up. It came back for a retest, but I don't believe that this is going up. So, and it's unclear. What I will do to make my analysis clearer is this. This is my last structural point, and potentially this is my strongest area in the market right now. So I want to see how the market plays in between those areas. If I have a strong break below, I will wait for a retest and a sell. And if I have a strong break above, I will wait for a retest and a buy. Very simple, don't overcomplicate it. GBP CAD looks very bearish right now. Daily time frame, very choppy on the daily though. We see nice push to the upside, price pushing down, lower high, failure to make a lower low. 4 days of consolidation here, a whole week, trial to push down, still failing, pulling back. Messy price action on the daily. Just analyzing the structure. Dropping down to the 4 hourly, we had this consolidation, price broke out. I was looking for the retest, but you see the retest happened, but price just didn't want to push to the downside. Gave us another run here to the top, to the massive major area. This one just quickly tapped it and currently running away, breaking this bullish action. So bearish bias on GBP CAD. I want to see again a pushback, potentially sort of a retest of the trend line, or a retest back at this major area, or just a lower high. And then we can target first the bottom here, where price found the bottom. And if that bottom breaks, then we have then you can find support and resistance on the daily that you can swing your trade. So I plan to create a video on how to turn day trades into swing trades, so make sure to stay tuned. And last GBP we have is Euro GBP, which is extremely messy as well. Just look at the daily. What I can identify is that we have a consolidation on the daily, something like this, trying to catch all the wicks, even a little bit below, something like this. Some bearishness was introduced, but the last day closes as a bullish one. And yeah, just look at this, guys. That is more of a clear consolidation, because we see top, bottom, price pushes at the bottom, finds support and pushes all the way to the top and finds resistance. So this is clear. What do we have within the range is a lower high. You see price pushes away, lower high, lower low, and currently we can expect a lower high. However, this largely depends on the GBP. Is it going to be strong or weak? So a potential technical setup is this one, but we always have to look at the sentiments of the market. So if the GBP is strong, then the GU, GJ should push up. However, we saw them very bearish, right? So this should start pushing to the upside. So let's monitor carefully what is going to happen. If Euro USD is bearish as well and GBP USD is bearish, this will consolidate as it does now. So you really have to dig deeper into the correlation, because it really matters, guys. The sentiment of the currencies is, we trade currencies, so you have to understand what is the sentiment and what one pair can tell you about a bunch of other currencies. So that's for the GBPs. Let's see what else do we have. CAD JPY, very messy market, guys. As you can see on the daily, it's super overextended, so I would expect a pullback on the daily. And that's the pair I lost the trade this week. So let me quickly show you. I believe it was, yeah, it is here. So what I saw in this market is a potential pullback trade. That is one of the trades I take. You see on the hourly time frame how I build confluences. This was a nice break below the structure, double top here, potential retest. I dropped down to the 15-minute and I found my entry, which was exactly here. It was something like this. With a 7 pip stop loss, I believe. And yeah, I was targeting to the downside because I was expecting price to continue pushing down. And you see my stop loss was hit after some time. So this is my trade I lost. It was a very good trade. However, the market wasn't. It is a reversal trade. That is why I lost it. It's not with the trend. But how I'm looking at this market now, just very quickly, we're finding the top here. Price is pushing away. What I want to see is for the market to pull back, to confirm, to reject, then to create the lower low. And that's when I will start looking for sales, because the market is very strongly to the upside and I want to see the reversal setup first. And wrapping up the video with just a quick analysis on gold because it is super messy. We see on the daily that price just pushed up. It looks like a bubble here. Boom, explosion, and starting to slow down. 4 hourly time frame, we had the lower low, so I was waiting for a lower high, but it never happened. It started to consolidate here. We had the bearish shift. I was looking for shorts, but never got the short. Price attempted to push up. So just dropping, guys, a few key areas in the market that you have to monitor is this one. That price is currently attempting to tap, and this there are a lot of wicks here, so potentially this area is the strongest. So I want to see either a break above or a break below this area with a retest. So not that big potentially, but something like this. And the same refers to the downside. Gold right now, as with we have a little bit of an uncertainty happening, it looks like this. So wait for clear price action to develop and then strike the market. So that's for today, guys. I hope it wasn't too long because I really want to show you how it's done, the structure, the market analysis, and yeah, I hope you liked the video. Make sure to leave me some feedback down in the comments if you did, what you want to see more, give me some topics you want me to discuss, and I totally appreciate it you're here and stayed up until now. So thank you for this, and I hope to see you on my next video.